discussed for cancer treatment in our dogs and cats is this. This is Panacur. The name of the drug is fenbendazole. It comes from a class of drug called benzimidazoles. There's a similar dewormer that is FDA approved for use in people. It's called mebendazole. To these Zole medications, they are now being seriously discussed to be repurposed as a new alternative treatment for cancer, both in our dogs and cats and even in people. Fenbendazole is a really old veterinary dewormer. It's been used in every type of animal, including our dogs, including our cats. I often used it in veterinary practice. It was a really good broad spectrum dewormer, and it is also treating some of those difficult to treat parasites such as Giardia. What I liked about it, it was safer than some of the other treatments, such as metronidazole, which can have some pretty serious side effects. I treated hundreds of dogs and cats with Panacur or fenbendazole. No one seemed to have any serious side effects at all, and generally it was quite effective. And you can do a literature review of fenbendazole for deworming in our dogs and cats, and generally it's considered very safe. A big reason why there's all this excitement and study around these dewormers is here you have drugs that are already approved. They've been well used in animals, they've been well used in people, and what some of the researchers has found is while they've been deworming an animal, i.e. some other form of study, what they've seen is also able to be cytotoxic against some of these malignant cells, animals that have cancer. So when scientists see that, or researchers see that, they're thinking, doesn't this make sense? Let's go back and look at a drug that's already out there, already approved, already has a well-established safety profile, and see if we could also use that drug against cancer. Because as you know, chemotherapy, it's not really a thing. Even though we've made some pretty big strides against some of the cancers, when we look at our animals, our dogs and cats, chemotherapy, it isn't that effective. I can go back and look at all these dogs that have developed lymphoma or lymph node cancer, and we're looking at giving them chemotherapy, i.e. adriamycin or one of the other co-op protocols. The chemotherapeutic options, they are not curative. The best you can hope for is you're giving your dog a period of remission for a period of time. Like there must be a much better way, and that's why there's such big interest in these deworming drugs. But are there any studies? Turns out there are many studies in dogs, cats, even people. They're not all positive. Some are not showing successful results. Some are. Obviously that's based on the type of drug and also the type of cancer they're trying to treat. But let's just name a few. 2018 review study. Fenbendazole acting as a moderate microtubule destabilizing agent causing cancer cell death by modulating multiple cellular pathways. An impressive study done by Johns Hopkins University in 2021. Antiparasitic drug slows pancreatic cancer in mice. For this study, they were using mebendazole, the dewormer used for people, and they found that it was particularly effective when it was used for pancreatic cancers that were detected early. The lead researcher says that for those people with advanced pancreatic cancer, it may be a serious and much better alternative than surgery. They believe it can help prevent tumor recurrence and may even improve response to chemotherapy. Another study in people was looking at colorectal cancer and the use of fenbendazole. The anti-cancer effects of fenbendazole on 5-fluorouracil-resistant colorectal cancer cells. They concluded the study saying that these results show that fenbendazole, it can be an alternative treatment for 5-fluorouracil-resistant colorectal cancer cells. 5-fluorouracil, it's that seriously serious toxic chemotherapeutic drug. Often it's sort of the only drug that's offered if you've got metastatic colon cancer. And they're looking at fenbendazole, this benign dewormer drug, as an alternative treatment. And that's awesome news. Or this study here, emerging perspectives on the antiparasitic drug mebendazole as a repurposed drug for the treatment of brain cancers. There's a really serious type of brain cancer called malignant glioma, and one of the few treatments that was shown to be beneficial is mebendazole. But it's not all good. And in one study was making a comparison. Yes, it may be good when you're looking at cells in a petri dish, but not the same thing when you give it to a living animal. Fenbendazole exhibits differential anti-cancer effects in vitro, as in a petri dish, and in vivo, as in a live animal, in models of mouse lymphoma. They came to the conclusion that these studies show that fenbendazole may provide no value in cancer therapy. My point of sharing those studies is it's not clear-cut, and the science is a little bit murky. Can't say your dog has cancer, lymphoma, give him this Panacur, he's going to be cured. Or the drug mebendazole is going to help someone with breast cancer. But there are many, many people who have, number one, used fenbendazole for their dogs, for their cats that have cancers, and many people have reported some positive results. Here's what some of our subscribers have said. At Outcast3397, dog with stage 3-4 mast cell tumor. Options given, chemo, radiation, or put the dog down. Went with doing the research and learning a holistic way of healing and treating cancer from good people like you. Going on 2.5 years strong, full of energy and happiness. Or from at transition 333. My female cat was over 20 years old and developed a mass in her abdomen. Based on her age, the cost of surgery and treatments, etc., she decided to treat her cat with fenbendazole. It cost about $10 for half a cup, and she was feeding her cat 1/8 of a teaspoon twice a day dissolved in water. Whatever the mass was, it disappeared, and she lived 3 more years. From at Teresa Shell 9067. My 13-year-old bull terrier was diagnosed with lymphoma 6 months ago. I started her on fenbendazole with other natural supplements shortly thereafter. She's now 70% better. I will not do chemo or any other toxic substances. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Thank you, Teresa. Another subscriber wrote in saying that she had a friend with stage 4 cancer. She was said to be terminal and she took Panicure. Since that time, she's now been cancer-free for over a year. Or from at Sarazadonna. 10 weeks ago, my dog was diagnosed with a lemon-sized tumor on his liver. She also had masses on her adrenal gland, her pancreas. The first vet said she had 4 to 6 months to live. After 10 weeks of Panicure, 220 milligrams twice a day, she had an ultrasound. She had no tumors at all. They had absolutely disappeared. Even the vet is done. He doesn't know what to say. I can read all the studies, but when I see results from people like you, that's when I know, like, okay, there is something there. If your dog or cat had cancer, what regimen would you use? There are 2 suggested regimens. Number 1, a high-dose regimen, 3 days on, 4 days off. Number 2, a lower daily regimen. Regimen number 1, the dose is 50 milligrams per kilo, which is 250 milligrams per 10 pounds of body weight once daily. And the schedule is given for 3 days on, so day 1, 2, and 3, you're getting the Panicure, 4 days off. Then you would continue that regimen, 3 days on, 4 days off. You do it for a full 30 days and then assess, is it being beneficial for my dog or cat or not? The second option that's being discussed is a low dose regimen, and that dose is 10 milligrams per kilo. So if we're looking at a 10-pound dog, that 10-pound dog is 5 kilos. 10 times 5, that is 50 milligrams. So that 10-pound dog will be giving 50 milligrams once a day ongoing. If your dog or cat has cancer, is Panicure going to work? I don't know. There's a bunch of studies. Some are pretty supportive, some less so. In cancer, it's very complex. There's multiple different even subtypes of cancer. It's not just lung cancer. There can be non-small cell lung cancer that is less responsive to certain types of chemotherapy. But what I can say is chemotherapy is not a great option in many cases of our dogs and cats having cancer. And this is an option where it's inexpensive, potentially beneficial, limited to no side effects. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. If my dog or my cat were to get cancer, I would definitely be trying this. I'd be definitely trying the fenbendazole. Thanks so much for listening to this edition of Veterinary Secrets of Animal Dewormers for Cancer.